Meteorologist Greg D wanted to do an in-depth video update on some of the latest information that came down this morning. I know it's been a lot, so we're going to talk about the storm now, what I expect for the future, and the watches that have been issued, the forecasts that have been issued as well. We'll get to the hour by hour for Thursday as well. So still a potential tropical cyclone. They're looking at the presentation on the satellite. Thunderstorms are trying to wrap a little closer to the center. This is going to be a process, but at some point today, this is going to become Helene. Now, it could happen right at an update advisory time. The next one is at 11 a.m. Or it could just happen whenever the Hurricane Hunter aircraft finds that this is a tropical storm. They're probably going to issue an intermediate advisory and just go ahead and name it to move the process along. Latest movement was northwest at 9. It's kind of drifting towards that break between Cuba and the Yucatan. It could pass over either landmass later today. Where it goes, I think at this point in that area is not all that important. Now, the change at 5 a.m. was that the Hurricane Center did bump up the intensity back to a Category 3 west of Tampa Bay. This is the 2 p.m. position on Thursday. It is important to note that the models have been basically wavering around 110 miles per hour. So with some updates, the Hurricane Center may make this 115 and be a 3. Another update, they may be back down to 110, and that's a 2. But you see the difference there isn't really much. It's still the same storm. A strong Category 2 at 110 is really no different than a weak Category 3 at 115. That 5-mile-an-hour speed difference doesn't make that much of a difference. The cone here indicates where the eye goes 2/3 of the time. It's completely based on statistics, has nothing to do with where the impacts from the storm will be. And notice, it is still possible this could graze our coast or go all the way back to almost Mexico Beach and Panama City, though the center track here really does look like the most likely track. And our computer models or spaghetti plot, you're used to this, they are clustering on that Big Bend area, somewhere between Taylor and Perry counties in the Big Bend. Obviously, a little closer to us would mean maybe slightly stronger impacts. But again, I don't think this is going to change the situation significantly for anyone here around the Bay Area. By the way, that cluster almost identical to where Debbie tracked earlier in the year. It's really amazing that a lot of these are basically pointing at a very similar track. So lots of watches came into effect because we're now 48 hours from this thing impacting us. In the pink are hurricane warnings from Sarasota, or watches from hurricane from Sarasota all the way up into Apalachicola. That's a hurricane watch. Tropical storm watches inland. Now, getting you in closer, it does vary by the county. So Citrus, Hernando, and Pasco County, the entire county is under a hurricane watch, and Pinellas as well. For Hillsborough, Manatee, and Sarasota, it's just coastal. But the city of Tampa is in a hurricane watch, while if you're in Plant City, you're in a tropical storm watch. The winds will be lighter away from the coast. Tropical storm watches extend into Orlando and Polk County. Highlands County has yet to be included in that. And then the tropical storm watch continues down to Sarasota County. Venice and Englewood are in a hurricane watch. Northport is in a tropical storm watch, where the winds will be lighter away from the coast. So here's what the timing looks like. This is Thursday, 3:30 in the morning. Tropical storm force winds begin on the Sun Coast. As we go through the day, it'll just get windier and windier with rain bands. The strongest winds look to come in during the afternoon. So anytime after the lunch hour through early evening in this orange area, roughly I-75 west toward the coast is where strong tropical storm force winds are likely, sustained, 58 to 73 miles per hour. In this orange area is where you're most likely to get gusts to hurricane force. So these would be the kinds of winds that would cause more widespread power outages along the coast. We'll have to watch for that. Tampa, Clearwater, up towards maybe Brooksville, Spring Hill, Newport Richey, obviously St. Pete, Bradenton, Sarasota too. In the interior, lighter winds, Polk, Hardy, DeSoto, and Highlands, and the gusts here would be lighter too. But still, Lakeland, Sebring, Davenport, Wauchula, you could still get power outages. They just won't be as widespread. They'll be more isolated to scattered. 7:30 Thursday evening, the strongest winds exiting Citrus County. Still looking at tropical storm conditions, though, all the way down into Sarasota County. We don't really clear out of this until Friday morning, when the winds will be finally lighter and the storm starts to pull away. Surge watches in the white for the entire coast right now. The surge expected for the Sun Coast, 4 to 7 feet, 5 to 8 feet for the Bay, including Pinellas and Hillsborough County. The Nature Coast, 6 to 10 feet and 10 to 15 feet across the Florida Big Bend. These numbers could shift up or down based on the track. If it tracks a little closer to us, we'll have to bump them up a little bit. I compared this to the highest surge forecast with Adalia on my Facebook page. Hillsborough County with that storm was 4 to 7 feet. So we're a foot above that right now. Those forecasts also wavered back and forth as Adalia's track was adjusted in intensity too. So just keep that in mind. These are subject to change, but they give you a good idea of the type of maximum surge that is possible so that if and when, and I expect it to be a when, evacuation orders are issued, you are making the right choice. For the interior, obviously it's not a surge issue. It'll be a rain issue. Maybe 3 to 6 inches widespread with 10 inches plus in some isolated spots, but this will depend on where the rain band's set up. So there'll be some areas in the interior that see an inch of rain out of this, and others that will see 6 to 10. And it will just have to watch the radar. It's almost impossible to predict where exactly is that going to happen. The European, it's a little weaker with the storm and a little farther west, so it's not quite picking up on the actual heavy numbers, but you kind of get the idea. Heavier rainfall along the coast, less as you make your way towards I-95 over towards the Panhandle. All these maps on my Facebook page, they're on my Instagram. If you're looking for quick weather hit updates, at Greg D Weather, check out my reels there. That's the best way to do it. All right, let's go through the next couple of days hour by hour. Today, hot, offshore wind, another record-setting high possible. Record high for today is 95. There'll be a couple of showers in the afternoon. No big deal. Great day for outdoor prep. Cleaning around the yard, the house, trimming back trees, cleaning drainage ditches. It'll be uncomfortable because of the heat, but the weather is not going to be an issue. Neither will the wind. So if you're doing tree trimming, you definitely want lighter winds. Tomorrow, not the worst day either. If you're trying to bring kids down from Tallahassee, tomorrow's a good day to do that. Trying to bring them down from Gainesville, where it's going to be worse than it is here for sure. Oh, absolutely. Tomorrow's a good day to do that. Now, the morning is better than the afternoon because by the afternoon, we'll start to see some scattered storms coming in. These are not going to be necessarily as weak as they are today. These could be stronger. Could be a little lightning with them. There may be a weak tornado threat with some of these later in the day. But again, tomorrow, not a bad day. Turning breezy, but nothing that is going to be destructive or damaging. After sunset on Wednesday, rain starts to develop along the coast. Now we start to get into some of these rain bands. So Wednesday evening, Wednesday night, periods of rain. It may not be continuous. We may wake up Thursday morning, like the model here is indicating, to dry weather for many of you. Thursday morning, the wind's still southeast. So the water levels will still stay low. But Thursday afternoon, as the storm gets closer, so now we're moving into Thursday here, the winds start to turn onshore and the water starts to come in. So Thursday morning, the water in some places may be low. We may be below our normal high tide, below our normal low tide. The bay may be noticeably lower. By Thursday afternoon, as the eye passes at our latitude, at the latitude of the bay, the winds turn onshore and the water will rush back into the bay, up the Hillsborough River, and into the Alafaya, the Palm River there, the Manatee River. These are all places that will carry the Gulf farther inland. There's the center of what will be Helene, 6 o'clock in the evening. Futurecast is a little slower than the NHC forecast, puts the eye directly to our west. This is when the worst weather is happening. These rain bands will carry a tornado threat with them. We will be under a tornado watch. We will be tracking tornado warnings most likely. Impossible to predict how many. Sometimes we track 5 or 6. Sometimes it's 25 like it was with Debbie. 9 o'clock, this is making landfall up in the Big Bend. Onshore flow really picks up. So a lot of this could happen toward or after dark on Thursday with rain bands continuing overnight Thursday, but by Friday, we clear out. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, no problems for travel and outdoor activities. The storm is done for us. There'll be a lot of moisture left over with a lot of scattered showers popping up in the afternoon, but in terms of any kind of stormy effect, I think Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are looking good. We'll be here throughout the storm, walking you through it hour by hour to make sure that you and your family are safe. Make sure you've got the ABC Action News app on your phone. As evacuation orders are issued, as school districts close, and they will, businesses, that kind of deals, roads flood, we will send you alerts and keep you updated so that you make sure that you are staying safe. If evacuation orders are issued for where you are and you are in a flood zone, I highly recommend that you go ahead and follow those recommendations. They just make it easier for everybody, and we'll have a nice peace of mind that you're safe during this storm. Thanks so much, everybody.